Hi, Jan here from Fobby's Creations. For those of you who don't know me or haven't watched the channel before, I aim to make things from recycled fabric, beads, basically anything that I can give another life to. I mainly concentrate on sewing, it's my love. So if I can incorporate anything else into that I can recycle, I will do, like belts and beads and anything basically. Recycled jewellery and clothes and everything. And what this today is part of that, and what we're making is this necklace, which is made from recycled fabric and beads that I got from a charity that are I think they're wooden beads. It's very light to wear, and it would depend, the weight will obviously depend on what beads you use. It can be made, if you make your own clothes, basically you can make one to coordinate with the clothes you're wearing it with. It's not, this one is quite a nice length. It's up to you what length. Again, you can do it whatever length you want it to. This one I made a bracelet to go with it, and that just literally just rolls on the hand like that. So it makes quite a nice set. And so in this video, as I've already recorded this bit once and I managed to delete it. So this is just introducing you really to what you're about to see, which is me making another one of these. I'm making it in quite a neutral fabric, because basically it's for just demonstration purposes, and you can choose whatever fabric you like. You'll see that, well, you may, for the eagle eyes amongst you, you may notice that during the video that I did have to change my fabric. As time's gone on, I've started to realise that maybe it wasn't long enough, and then when I went to get another scrap of fabric to match the original, I hadn't got any of that left, so I had to change the whole thing. I could have messed it up, but it could have been like a patchwork, but I decided to just change the fabric. So if you notice that, well done you. So anyway, here we go now with the video, and if you decide to make one, let me know in the comments, and hope you enjoy it. It's a nice thing you can do after you've made the tube that you put the beads into. It's quite easy to make while it's sitting watching TV, which is a good thing, because it's after that it's all done by hand. Okay, so enjoy. What I have here, I don't know if any of you've seen one before, but it's let me go this way around, and I don't want to spill all my beads. It's for making necklaces, and it allows you to lay out all of your beads in a pattern that you want them to be, and to the length you want. And obviously for this one I was going to go to the longest bit, which is all the way around there, but I don't have enough beads the same size, so I'm going to do the fabric to that length, put the beads in, and then after that I will then decide if I need to shorten the fabric, because it's better to have too much than too little, as you know. And then once it's all together, I will either tie a knot at the end of the beads, or again tie with cotton. So I'm going to, as we go, I'll work it out as we go. But yeah, this is called a jewellery maker. It's from jewellerymaker.com, sorry. And so you can do different lengths. You've got the outside one there, then another one, then another one. And I've also got one that measures for bracelets as well. So that's just to show you that's how, I mean, at the moment, because they're beads and they're going to be going inside a tube of fabric, it doesn't matter what colour beads go where, because you're not going to see them. This is why you've got a few odd different colours on my arrangement here. It's more to do with the size of the beads. Okay, so I'll get on and make the tube. I've chosen these pieces of fabric. They're left over from a quilt I made, and I finished it, and I've got lots left over. It's quite a neutral colour, so I'm going to use this. I've just got to join them all together in one long piece. What you need to just do when you choose I mean, I'm lucky this is already cut and I've chose more or less beads to fit this, but if you've only got certain beads, I would suggest measuring around the bead. It's okay to do it with a tape measure, but that's a bit stiff. But if you can, just maybe wrap a piece of cotton around it and then measure the cotton on your tape measure, and then that will give you the size. And then once you've got your width, make sure as well that you're leaving about 2 centimeters either side of the bead, because then that will allow, even for that one, you see that once I've got my 1/4 of an inch seam in there, or centimetre, whatever, it is tight, and that's what you need it to be, tight. So now I'm going to put them all in a long strip, and then I'll make the tube to put all the beads in, and then I will show you from there. It's one thing with working in the loft, I can hear the rain on the roof out there today. If you can do this out of one piece of fabric, brilliant. But because, you know what I'm like, because I'm trying to use scraps up, I'm patching them together as usual. As you sew, just keep sort of measuring, really. I mean, you will, you know, you get to know what size you want, but if you're using scraps, you want to be sure. Sometimes you think you know the length you need, and then you put it on and it's not right, because you've got to remember that when the beads go in, the fabric's going to shrink in size because it'll be going around the beads all the way. So it's better to have too much fabric than not enough. It's quite long. I think I'm going to do one more just to make sure. Okay, so now I'm going to make my tube. I'm living dangerously, not putting any pins in, but it's such a narrow piece. For me, I'm confident that I can hold on to it. So you just got to keep making sure you're keeping your edge to edge. Go slow if you need to go slow. It's always easy to get carried away and just let it run away with you when you're on a long strip. I know, I do it all the time. This is the fiddly bit, isn't it? Not quite sure how. I can't remember how I do this, to be honest. I know what I do. Right, now I need to stitch across one end, because then I need to attach something to that to turn this inside out, or outside in, whichever way, you know. I see a lady on another channel the other day, she had a tip of using a straw, and that was for threading through elastic and things. It was quite a good idea. So you put a pin through the end of the straw, which then meant you could go through your tubing a lot easier, but I'm not sure if it'll work on the same thing, and I haven't got any straws. So I keep forgetting I've got this tool, but I've not had a lot of success with it, so I'm going to give this a go. What you do, you thread it right through to the end, which could be a challenge. There's a little hook inside. I'm not quite sure what we hook onto. Ah, there we are. Go through the stitch. Fingers crossed. There we go. Let's see if it's going to stay. The principle of this necklace is quite simple, but it's things like this that slow you down. And of course it's simpler when you're making a bracelet because it's short. Oh, I think this could, fingers crossed, it might be my first success with this gadget. It feels like such a delicate gadget. It's just, I'm worried I'm going to pull it off the other end. If we can get it out this end, we'll be laughing. And then pull it through anyway. Yes. Well, thank you. That's the next challenge, is to get the rest of it through. Yes! Right. So now, let me see. I think we need, it's going to probably come, let's measure, let's look at the beads. So the beads will probably come about here, I'd have thought, about that much. So I'm going to tie a knot in this bit. So that if I need to change it, I can just by the knot. Okay, and then we can feed it the beads through from this end. And have I got the wrong end? Yes, I've tied the wrong end. 1 minute. You know it never goes smoothly for me. So I've got to tie that end. So about there. Didn't think I was going to catch that. As I've told you, my floor's on a slope. Alright, there we go. Put the knot that end. Right, okay, here we go. Let's feed the beads through. Start with this one. Fingers crossed. There we go, first one in. It's fiddly, but again, but it's, there we go. That's it. Right, just keep feeding them in until you've got them all in. Then once they're in, you can then start tying the knots. There we go. I think the fabric stretches slightly after each one as well, so it does get easier. It's really chucking it down out there. I can really hear it hitting the roof. Right, I think I'm going to come back to you once they're all in, because this is going to take a little while. There we go. All inside. It's hard for you to see, but trust me, they're in there. Some of them were a challenge, just slightly bigger, and they were a bit hard to get past the joins in my fabric, but with persuasion they went through. So I've got, there they are, from there to there. So now I've got to put the fabric in as a, sorry, the fabric. I've got to tie a cotton round. Now you can use coordinating cotton, or you can use the same colour, you can use ribbon, whatever you want, depending on how fancy you want it. You could do little bows over them, or every other one maybe do a little bow. I tend to just use cotton, and I'd go around a few times, and I go through with a needle as well, so that it secures it to the fabric as well. And I might I think last time, if I remember right, you can move it down, twist it slightly as well, and then do it. But it's up to you exactly how you want to do it. You could say you can have coordinate with a dress of yours, or you could make them maybe. Oh, I thought the other day actually, make quite nice handles on a bag or something. So now I need to get my thread and start, well, and my needle, and start sewing. And there we go. Right, let's find some thread. This one is quite a good match, so I'm going to use that one. So just make sure when you're putting it together that you try the fabric around the bead. And so I did have a couple there that were a bit too tight, so I couldn't use them. I will thread this needle in a minute. It's nearly there. Still not there. Do you have this problem? Let's try just straight in. I find sometimes holding it in front of something white so you can actually see the hole properly helps. I hope you're not at home laughing at me. That needs cutting again, I think. That's the problem. It's got a frayed end on it. There we go. Yes. Right. Do you remember me saying about this tip? Thread your needle before you cut the end off the reel. Apparently it's supposed to stop it fraying and make it easier to thread, but obviously it didn't work for me then, did it, very much? Right. Needle, knot. So I say, don't forget, you've got to make sure you leave enough at each end. I've left that so that if I decide, I don't know at the moment whether I want to put that in a bow or whether I'm just going to sew the two ends together like I did on the last one, but make sure you leave an end. Right, so there we go. Twist, put the needle through. Now what I've found, as last time I went round, leave a loop, and then like you do when you're making a knot basically at the end, loop through and then do the same again. So say like that, up the other side, oops, sorry. So there, up in as if you're going through the loop. That's one tied on. You can do that as many times as you want, just for security really. I think I'll go around one more time. Hold it up. I think this is easier so I know I can see where my loop is. There you go. Oops. Hold it there. Right, next, move the next bead up. Now you've got a knot. Make sure you put a knot in the last bit there. So obviously if you're doing a thin ribbon you can see this a lot easier. I can snap that off. Again, this is time consuming. It's easy to do but it's time consuming. I'll do a couple and then I'm going to leave you while I finish it off. Twist, needle through the twist, around and back through the loop, and again up through the loop, and again. So say this is something you can just sit and watch TV while you're doing it. Okay, and the final knot, snip that off. As I say, Sharon went home with my snips the other day, so I'm having to use my big clumpy scissors at the minute. One more to show you. There we go. Twist. Needle through the twist. Oops. No, catch it on this side. One more. Oops. And the knot. Ouch. There we go. Again, I'll come back to you when I'm finished. So there we go. They're all tied in between. Now I've got to decide on the length I want them. Sort of pull them into shape a little bit. And I like that sort of length, in which case meet it around the back, make a point. So I've got that much on either side. So I think for this one I might just tie a knot. There we go. So there. I'm just going to shorten that one side and stitch that. Let's about there. Tuck that in, and then I'll stitch that as you would. There we go. So that side has already got a slope on it. I'll do the same with that, and then I'll stitch that and we'll be done. So these are so much, you know, you put them in to make them into nice bright colours. And another thing, you like girls that like to play dress up, because they're safe, they can go in the washing machine, they're just really easy, and again lightweight. There's no worry about the, you know, a child being allergic to the metal or anything. It's big, but obviously, like with anything that goes around a child's neck, you must obviously keep an eye on them, basically. I know my girls used to just like playing dress up, so you know, I know they would love something like this, but never let them do that without you around. So Christmas, obviously, where am I now? I'm on the 26th of November. So Christmas isn't, well, it's obviously nearly a month away, just under a month away. We're not doing anything for Christmas. What are you doing? It was just the two of us. If we could afford it, we would probably go away to the sun for Christmas. That would be quite nice, but it's not feasible this year, because we've had 3 trips this year, one including when we managed to get to go and see the children. Can't justify going over again. It does cost us a lot of money when we go over, because obviously it's the travel and then the eating out. So yeah, if we could just have 3 or 4 days in the sun across Christmas, that would be lovely. But I'm there to say we'll manage to have a good time. It's an awkward one, isn't it, Christmas, because everybody wants to have a drink generally, so nobody wants to drive. As I've said, and you've probably seen it in my other video, we tend to spend New Year with the neighbours and we get together for a meal and everything, but I'm assuming that will happen this year, but we don't know for sure. So if we do, all well and good. If not, then it'll be a quiet new year as well. I mean, if people come to us, they can stay in the gîte. That's not a problem. So, you know, but it's finding someone who's not already tied up, who doesn't mind staying away from home. We don't. You know, if we get invited anywhere, we haven't got a problem staying somewhere at all. But some people just like their own bed. That's fair enough. I get together with my friend Sharon before she goes to UK so we can exchange presents with her. Other than that, it'll be Duncan and I just exchanging our presents on our lonesome. Don't know what we'll have for dinner yet. I'm going to be doing a video on Foppy's France talking about the differences between English and French Christmases actually. So that would be quite interesting I think for you. So look out for that one. Right, there we go. That's finished. So I think maybe a brighter colour would have been okay, but for demonstration purposes, this is fine. And say it's so nice and light. You don't get hot and bothered with it around your neck because it's especially if you use cotton, it's cool. So that's my sort of easy-ish make, fiddly but easy. And hopefully you'll make yourself some, or maybe make a friend one. And so I think they're pretty good. So this do a shorter version like this one and make a bracelet. And so I've done the same on that one, a bow. But on the actual necklace, I actually just put the ends together and sew them flat. In some ways, it's a bit more comfortable if it just sits flat on your neck rather than the beads. But so yeah, hope you enjoyed that. And I shall see you in the next one. I'm not quite sure what I'm making yet, but you'll soon know because it will come up on the thumbnails and hopefully on recommended if you're subscribed. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so, and same with the like, and you'll get to know when my videos are coming up, and you'll help me progress in YouTube if I get the likes and the views. So thanks again. I'll see you next time. Au revoir.